Welcome back, college football and black and gold fans, to the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, the only channel where we examine, discuss, celebrate, and honor all things college football across the entire college football landscape. I'm your usual host, Blair Parks. It's great to be back with you. I've been on a little bit of a break, a vacay, a sabbatical, a hiatus. But once again, I am so happy to be back with you all once again, because here's my opening statement, which is going to set into motion the topic for today's episode, is to all of my fellow college football brothers and sisters, regardless of your team of fandom, are you getting excited? This guy, the answer is absolutely, and I will further explain why that is here shortly during this upcoming episode. But before I say anything else, thank you for all that you have done for the channel, for all of your time, your support, your love, your comments. Please keep them coming. It has been an absolute success the last 3 seasons since I started the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. But please, I need your help to further spread the word, tell your fellow college football fans, your coworkers, your family members to check me out here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, because I want to find more college football fans just like you. So please tell them to check me out here on the channel. But let me now go ahead and answer the opening statement that I asked you is, are you getting excited? I told you I absolutely am, because here's why. As of today, as I record this episode, it is Wednesday, May 14th. So we are exactly a little more than 3 months away this coming Saturday from the Labor Day holiday kickoff weekend, 11 weeks to be exact. But what sounds even better is we are 10 Saturdays away from week 0. And this year we have a absolute stud, big-time matchup across the pond in Ireland. We have a Big 12 conference game. Iowa State takes on Kansas State, so cannot wait for that. But the other reason why it's time to get excited, it's not because spring practices have come to a conclusion, not because the spring transfer portal has closed, not because conference media days are right around the corner, but now that everything has pretty much been settled, now that rosters have been solidified, other than maybe the occasional late addition or, God forbid, major injury, rosters are completed, just like the schedules. So now we can start getting excited about the matchups. Now that each of our teams know who we have on the field, now we can start dissecting and kind of thinking about how the season will play out on the field of play, on the gridiron, when we look at our team of fandom's schedules. And that's why I am getting excited. That's exactly why you should be getting excited as well. And so today I'm really going to focus just a very quick browse and look and a overview of the upcoming 2025 Hawkeye football schedule. Now, please, make no mistake, this is not my official Iowa Hawkeye preview and predictions episode. That'll be coming later on here in the summer. I just want to share with you why my blood is starting to flow, my heart is pumping, because now I'm looking at what is in store, what is on tap, potentially, for this upcoming season. All right, and as I always state, please, if this is your first time on the channel, welcome once again. I always ask for, beg, and welcome any sort of involvement by you, my fellow college football fans. You don't have to be a black and gold fan to enjoy the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. This is a channel, a gathering spot for all fans, regardless of the colors of the jersey you don on Saturdays or the symbol on the helmet. No matter your location, all of you are welcome here, and it's an absolute blessing and an absolute honor for me to be sharing with you my love for all things college football. But please, get involved, voice your opinions. Please react to any of my hot takes, my opinions, the facts, any of the issues that I present, any of my remarks. Please go ahead and respond. I just ask that you be adult-like. Please get involved. Light up the comment section below, and I promise I will get back to each and every one of you much sooner than later via those comments. And please spread the word. As I mentioned, please, if you could find it in your heart to click that subscribe button, like, share, and comment, that would be excellent. So thank you for all you do and what you will continue to do for the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. All right, so before I look at the Hawkeye schedule, let me ask you, my fellow fans, I want to ask you, of the two types of schedules that we have each and every year, which one do you prefer? All right. Now, the first option is, would you rather have overall top to bottom an underwhelming schedule to where you may have one or two marquee matchups, but for the most part, it's a little Charmin soft. It's a little bit pie crust soft. Would you rather have that type of a schedule, which absolutely comes in handy, especially now with the advent of the expanded 12-team playoff, to where if you're able to navigate a fairly navigable, if that's even a word, schedule, let's say you end up going 11-1, 10-2, as long as you don't have a bad loss or two, that's probably going to be enough to A, get you into the college football playoff, or at least keep you in that discussion. I mean, quite frankly, I see no way, no how, regardless of the schedule that a team went through. If you go on 11-1, you're going to make the playoff. You just are. So would you rather have that schedule in the time and days of, well, maybe less is more, just post a good record? Or would you rather be challenged? Would you, as a fan, rather face a daunting schedule with many roadblocks and potholes to where there is just not a lot of flexibility if those losses mount? All right? So I'll answer my point of view. All right? I want the latter of the two. I would much rather have my Hawkeyes, and yes, I bleed black and gold, but I am not a Homer Simpson. First and foremost, I am a college football fan. I would much rather have my Hawkeyes face a daunting schedule than a very underwhelming schedule. Like, for instance, last year's schedule, 2024 for the Hawkeyes, it did feature a couple of marquee matchups. I mean, the annual Cy-Hawk Trophy game against Iowa State. We did play at Ohio State. And even the matchup out west against UCLA in the hallowed ground of the Rose Bowl, those were marquee matchups. But overall, it was very underwhelming. And that's kind of why a lot of folks out there, me not being one, sorry Hawkeye Nation, were saying that if Iowa simply took care of business, goes 11-1 or 10-2, even though they may end up missing out on playing for the Big Ten title, they're probably going to be in the playoff discussion. I understand that because, as I stated a little bit ago, that really is enough to stay in that conversation. It just is, all right? But I don't want that kind of a schedule, all right? I just don't. As a fan, I want my team to earn respect, to get what they get and play for it, rather than saying it was handed to us via a silver platter schedule. And that's why I'm excited. The 2025 Hawkeye schedule, it is exactly that. It is absolutely one of the most daunting schedules, not just in the Big Ten Conference, but really across the entire nation. Especially when you factor in that the Big Ten, unlike other conferences, yes, and I'm pointing directly and talking to you, the ACC and SEC, The Big Ten, unlike those two, also plays 9 conference games compared to 8. So right there, it's a little bit unbalanced. Okay, it is. All right? So this year's Hawkeye football schedule, all right, I'm going to go ahead and just run through it with you very quickly, and then I will backtrack and explain to you further why I'm so excited and why I think Hawkeye Nation, you should be too. But please, answer that question. Light up the comment section. Would you rather have a tailor-made, a schedule that is easier, or would you rather have a tougher schedule? All right, I want to hear from you, all the college football fans from east to west, north to south, and everywhere in between. All right, so quickly going through Iowa's upcoming schedule. Week 1, they open up at home against the Albany Great Danes. Week 2, at Iowa State for this year's Cy-Hawk Trophy game. Week 3, at home against the UMass Minutemen. Week 4, on the road at the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Week 5, at home against the Indiana Hoosiers. Then they have a bye week. Week 7, on the road at rival Wisconsin, the Badgers up in Madison. Week 8, back at home against the Penn State Nittany Lions. Week 9, at home against another arch rival, the battle for the Divine Swine, the Floyd of Rosedale. At home in Week 9 against the Minnesota Golden Gophers, followed by a bye week. Week 11, still at home against the Oregon Ducks. Week 12, they take the show on the road, head west, and take on USC and Traveler inside the Coliseum against the Trojans. Week 13, they come back home to take on Sparty, Michigan State, and Iowa City on Senior Day. And then finally, Week 14, the annual Black Friday matchup against arch rival. They finish up this year at Nebraska and Lincoln, taking on the Cornhuskers. All right? So, yes, there are some duds in that schedule. I'll point it out right now. Week 1 against FCS Albany. Yes, Albany, they are not a world beater at the FCS level. Okay, I don't mind Iowa playing an FCS game this season because they are breaking in still a newer offense, a brand new transfer quarterback, all right? And plus, most teams out there do play an FCS school. The majority of fellow College 4 Power Football Conference teams do, all right? And Week 3 at home against a UMass team, which basically is an FCS program. I mean, no offense to UMass fans, but you have been and you are, okay? And I do believe Missouri. I mean, I am a citizen of the Show Me State. I live west of the St. Louis area. So before any of you SEC or Missouri folks, giggle or squabble about us playing UMass, hey, UMass also comes to Como to take on the Tigers. They do, all right? So I get it. There's a couple of duds, all right? But did you not hear some of these home games? If you are a season ticket holder of Iowa this year, you are very, very happy. I mean, the home games, they just speak volumes, all right? At home. And overall, I mean, when you look at the overall schedule, Iowa plays not 1, not 2, but 3 playoff teams from last season, but more impressively and importantly, they play all 3 of them at home. It starts off with Indiana, and then Penn State, and then Oregon, all come to Kinnick, to Iowa City to take on the black and gold. I mean, right there, that's why this is a very daunting schedule. You would be hard pressed to find many teams out there that play 3 college football playoff teams from last season. There probably are a few. I would venture to think probably Texas, because they do play Ohio State this season, week 1, which cannot wait for that non-conference game. So I would think Texas is definitely one. Maybe Clemson, because they do, well, maybe not Clemson, but Texas is probably the only one right now that I could probably guarantee does. Maybe Georgia, maybe Alabama, but that's really probably about it, okay? So having those 3 teams on your schedule and at home right there proves why this is a awesome, tough schedule. But then you look at the road games that the Iowa Hawkeyes have to play. It starts week 2. They travel to Ames to take on their in-state rival, the Iowa State Cyclones, which last season, yours truly predicted Iowa State would win the Big 12 and advance to the college football playoff. They didn't make the title game, but they came up one game short. And I definitely think Iowa State's going to be a major player this year, once again, in the Big 12. So Iowa plays Iowa State on the road, but then they have 2 of their biggest rivals also on the road. They play at Wisconsin, and then the very last game of the year, to wrap all of this up, this great schedule, it ends on Black Friday at Nebraska. And that Nebraska-Iowa rivalry is really starting to get some momentum. I have said in numerous previous episodes that I myself, I'm 44 years old. I was a Hawkeye fan ever since I was 8 years old. So still adjusting to Nebraska being in the Big Ten and being considered one of our rivals is a little bit new to me. Because quite frankly, I'm not trying to throw any shade on mighty Nebraska, their program, their fans, whatever. But since you all have joined the Big Ten, it's been pretty much a one-sided affair, predominantly owned by Iowa. So it really hasn't been a rivalry. But now you've got Coach Matt Rule in there throwing some shade at folks. Last year's game prior to kickoff in Iowa City on Black Friday, the Nebraska captains not shaking hands with the Iowa captains. This is really getting to be a little bit more of a heated rivalry these days between the fan bases. It definitely is. And yours truly is starting to kind of get caught up in that as well. All right? So it ends there at Nebraska, the last game of the season. But also another road game that I really like, I can't wait to see it, I'm sure I'll be up late, is traveling out west where historically Iowa does not perform very well west of the Rocky Mountains, traveling to La La Land to take on mighty USC in the Coliseum in the City of Angels. So this is a great schedule. Okay, I was really a little bit hard pressed, and I challenged myself, which I'm sure Hawkeye fans, maybe you did too. I wanted to look back and say, you know what? When's the last time that we really faced a vaunted schedule like this? I had to go back, and to me, I landed on the year that I was married. Actually, that was the second year I was married. Oopsie. Going back 15 seasons ago, 2010, Iowa coming off the Orange Bowl berth and victory in 2009. 2010's team, quarterback Ricky Stanzi, a lot of those key pieces were returning. I mean, expectations were high in Iowa City, and they should have been, to where we had really great teams coming to Iowa City. That included Penn State, Wisconsin, Michigan State, and Ohio State all came to Kinnick, and we also had to play at Michigan and in the non-conference at Iowa State. And also we went out west and took on Arizona in the desert in Tucson. So to me, that's the last year that we've seen a schedule like this, Hawkeye fans. And yeah, unfortunately, that year was a little bit of a letdown. It was. We went 7-5 overall in the regular season, but then did win the bowl game against Missouri. So that's the last time that I think Iowa had a schedule quite like this one. I mean, it's going to be epic, all right? And I get it. So some of you might be thinking, Blair, wouldn't you rather have maybe a little bit more of a easier schedule, maybe one that's a little bit more negotiable and you're able to navigate potentially? But I think this sort of schedule gives you more flexibility to meet your end goal, which is either get to a conference title game or get to the college football playoff. Am I saying right now, no. I am not saying right now that I expect Iowa to get to the Big Ten title game win the conference or make the college football playoff. I'm not saying that. For all of that, you'll have to watch my Iowa Hawkeye season preview later this summer. But right now, this does give at least Iowa the opportunity to get into that conversation. All right? When you look at a schedule like this, if you're able to, let's say those three biggest games on their schedule will be Indiana, Penn State, and Oregon, as I said, all at home. Do I expect Iowa to win all three of those games? I don't. But I think it is possible to win at least one, if not two of those. And if they do, and if those teams end up being as advertised, which I do expect Indiana to take a couple of steps backwards, but I do think Penn State and Oregon will be as advertised, the real deal. If you're able to score a couple of good victories over teams of that caliber, then it's okay if you end up losing a game or two during the regular season, as long as it's not a bad loss, all right, or losses. And that's exactly why Alabama did not get a college football playoff berth last season, because yes, they had good victories, but when you lose to a 6-6 Vanderbilt team and a 6-6 Oklahoma team, you don't deserve a college football playoff berth. You don't. That doesn't offset the good victories you had, all right? You can't have bad losses, just like Ole Miss. Losing at a solid Florida team, but you can't lose at home, in Oxford against a sub-500 Kentucky Wildcats team. You can't and expect to get an invite, okay? So overall, yes, the College Football Playoff Committee, they got it right last year, okay? But if Iowa is able to beat two of those three legit previous playoff participants and maybe get one loss the rest of the season, that's okay. I mean, there's no shame to losing at USC. Or maybe you lose the last game of the year at Nebraska. I think Nebraska will continue to get better and better under Coach Matt Rule. Even if you lose non-conference at Iowa State, all right, and they end up getting to the Big 12 conference title game or winning the conference, which, once again, I think they are capable of doing. They will be a power player this year in the conference. That ultimately is not going to hurt Iowa. As long as you don't have a loss, for example, a loss at Rutgers or maybe at home against Minnesota, or heaven forbid you lose against Albany, which that would be great. I love seeing the upset, but, losing to Albany or UMass or even Michigan State, teams that Iowa should take care of business against. But as long as you don't have a bad loss, and maybe go 10-2 and defeat a couple of those really good teams, you're going to put yourself in that position and in the conversation to get a college football playoff at large bid. You just will, all right? So I'm really excited. I mean, I love this time of year to start kind of thinking, how is the season going to unfold? And that's why I think all of you need to start getting excited. Pull up your Team of Fandom schedule, check to see what the final roster is, and then look at the opponents on your schedule, see who they added, who they lost during the offseason, whether it's to the NFL or via the transfer portal, and just start to kind of look at the matchups. Look at when they happen, where they are, and then you can kind of now start to put together the puzzle of, hey, what do I think the chances are of my team against this opponent on this day? It really starts to get a lot of fun, okay? Because now you can start projecting and making legit projections. So what you think your team can, should, or will end up at the end of the season with this or that record. This is a fun time of year, all right? And that's really all I got to say. I'm going to go and cut this one a little bit short today. Once again, I've been away a little bit. I promise you, come July 1st, I'm going to be on weekly. That's when, kind of unofficially, the 2025 season of the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog will officially kick off. Will be in July, when I'll be able to have time to do a little bit more research. I'll be hitting you weekly with some preview episodes, projections. Hey, who are my 12 college football playoff teams? Who are going to be my dark horse teams or coaches? Hey, my favorite offseason coaching hires. What coaches find themselves in the hot seat entering 2025, etc., etc. Can't wait for that. So I might have an episode or two previous to the month of July, but until then, this might be it. I might be signing off for a while, but please get involved, comment below, let me know what you think about strength of schedule, which one of those two do you prefer, and share with me your team of fandom's schedule. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Is it legit? Is it a little bit iffy? And just get involved in general. Feel free just to say hello. And I promise I will get back to each and every one of you. And please, if you find it in your heart, help the channel grow. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Help me out. And I really do appreciate and thank you for all you do for the channel. So until next time, as always, go black and gold. And take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Be safe. Be responsible. Peace and prosperity. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.